Hi, welcome to this episode of Author Ecke. I'm Travis Davis, your host. Tell us your story. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Author Ecke. Today I have Ronnie. I'm going to let Ronnie introduce himself, talk about not only one book, but books in different genres, and just kind of take the conversation from there. So take it away, please. Go ahead.
My name is Ronnie Ashmore, and I'm a retired police officer.
Thank you for your
And
service.
I have several books out, mostly westerns, but also police mysteries.
Excellent. So where were you a policeman at?
Uh, and my last job was chief of police in Hyco, Texas.
Oh, wow. All right. I've been there.
Yeah,
Sure enough. We drove through there going down to oh, what's that Germantown down there? Marble
Fredericksburg.
Falls, Fredericksburg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cute little town there.
Thanks.
Very interesting. All right. Well, so tell us about your latest book and your other books. What do you want the readers to know about them?
Well, the newest one is called Birth of a Gunman, and it focuses around pre-Civil War up to after Civil War. And it follows the plot of a young boy as he grows up in that time frame and how that shapes him. It was just released in the last day or so.
And so, what got you into writing? So you write mysteries and crime novels, correct?
Westerns and police
And
mysteries.
police. So what got you from which one did you do first?
Westerns.
The westerns first.
I wrote several short stories since college
Uh-huh.
and decided to put it down in novel format. Um, when I decided to write my first book, it was actually The Family Secrets, which was book one of the Kobe PD
Okay.
series. And that was a couple, 3, 4 years ago, and been going since.
Oh, awesome. Great. So what do you enjoy writing more?
Westerns.
Westerns, because you can have more levity or leeway with the characters and the atmosphere and the environment and stuff.
Well, if you write a police mystery, you're kind of hemmed in by what
Facts.
is actually what you can do and can't do as far
Yeah.
as believability.
Right.
But you can take a murder mystery and set it in the old west and have
Ah,
all that stuff as a dynamic.
interesting. Interesting. So how many of each have you written? How many police mysteries and how many of the westerns have you written
Well,
each?
I've only got two police mysteries, and they're both
Okay.
series.
Okay.
But I've got 16 or 17 westerns out now, I think.
Holy
I'm not,
cow, that's amazing.
yeah, I'm not even sure how many westerns are out.
That is amazing. Do they all take place in the same area? Or is it West Texas or Central Texas or where?
They mostly take place in Texas and different areas. There's a couple of different series out, and then a couple
Mhm.
of standalones that take place in other areas, but mostly in Texas.
Okay, yeah, I've been out. I mean, I live in Texas myself. I live up by Dallas,
Yeah.
and I've definitely been out to Pecos and all those places out there. They're beautiful, beautiful out there. You can really probably write some great stories about that, and maybe it's probably some folklore that's out there that you can write a story about.
You're never going to be able to write about everything. You're just going to be
R-
able to scratch the surface on a lot
mm,
of it. So,
Right, exactly, exactly. So you go out to the locations, and do you have like a main character in all the westerns, or is it different characters in there?
well, there's, like I said, two different series and then
Mm-hmm.
some standalones. One of the series is a ex-Texas Ranger. He's around Waco area,
Mm-hmm.
and one's a young bounty hunter that is around. Uh, he goes to Fort Worth and stuff like that. He's around central, more central part,
Okay.
south part.
Oh, so that takes place in late 1850s, 1860s, late 1860s and such.
Late 1860s, early 1870s.
Okay. That's amazing. That's great. And so where do you find your inspiration to write? And do you write like all day? Do you have a time you write? What's your synchronization or what's your rhythm for writing?
I write usually 3 or 4 hours a day. I try to
Uh-huh.
get so many pages done, and then I'm done for the day.
Right.
I start fairly early, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
and once I hit my goal, my day is mine.
Okay. So do you have a favorite place to write? Can you write with noise, or are you got to be like, I got to be in my zone. It's got to be quiet. I can't take any extraneous or extemporaneous noises or anything.
I'd have to have the quiet, but I can tune out a lot of the background stuff as long as
Uh-huh.
it's not a constant interrupt.
Okay. And are you working on another one now that this one's already released?
Yes, I have usually about three going at a time.
Oh, wow.
And I
I
try to
usually
do six
finish
pages
one and
in
then
each one.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually do. I've written one. I've just finished my second one book, and while that one was being, through the process of editing and all that, then I started writing my other one, which is
Yes.
now finished, and I'll get it to the publisher this week. So do you self-publish or do you have a publisher?
No, I'm traditionally published. I've got a publisher uh, that
Okay.
that I've been with. Yeah. So
Well, you can tell their name if you want. I mean, if
it's
anybody wants to
Creative
know.
Text out of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so you've been with them. I do publish. I don't self-publish either because I didn't know enough about the industry to be able to do it, or did I want to have the distractions of self-publishing. I just want to be able to focus on the writing, and then um, I know that I think what's really difficult or the after effect is the marketing of the book. It's you can write a book and just let it go and sit there, but if you don't have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter or Facebook, the book is just going to languish there. Even though it might be a great piece of work, it's just going to languish. You've got to get out there and market it. What have you found to be your best marketing campaign, or what do you do to market your books?
Well, I have found through all the books I've published that I suck at marketing. So
Most people do, by the way.
whatever I'm doing, it needs to be done differently. But
Uh-huh.
I do Facebook and a little bit of TikTok that my kids have done, but
Yeah.
most of it is just a wing and a prayer of top marketing. There's
Word of
nothing.
mouth of the books and such, and a following of the books that you have so many of them, basically.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have a reader base on that continue to talk and spread
Oh,
the
great. So on Goodreads and Amazon and such, or other outlets?
Goodreads and Amazon. Yes, sir. I've got a
Excellent.
lot of good followers that read what I
I
put.
didn't know, after I released my book, I didn't know there were so many people that were geniuses at marketing books as I know now, because I get every day, I get, hey, I can get your books up to, I'm like, there can't be that, I mean, there can't be that many people
Yeah, yeah, they're always
from one geographical location. It's impossible.
they're wanting to help you out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always for a fee. I get it. You got to spend money to make money. I'm not hesitant about that. Everybody knows that's not an issue with me. But I just want to make sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck, right? And you get
Right.
that's
And
what you got to be scary of.
I have a marketing company that I do work with that are really, really good and solid, and I've recommended other writers
Oh,
to,
excellent,
so
excellent,
they do a great job.
excellent. I like to learn marketing company. I do a lot of my own. I, I can do somewhat marketing. I started my own company in marketing, and I marketed that, and just basically be in sales for the last 20 some years. You market every day of your life, whether you know it or not. So I do like that. So you got any cover pictures of your books, or books you can show the covers of with you or anything?
I don't have any of that with me right now, not at all.
Okay. All right. Well, if you send me one, I can throw it out there when I put the podcast out.
Okay.
So do you do book signings? Have you or your book fairs or anything like that?
Yeah, I do as many of those as I can keep track of. I enjoy doing those. I enjoy going to the book festivals and meeting people.
Yeah,
I
I've been to two. I did one book signing in Denton, and I did another one in Virginia last week, Northern Virginia. But I like the first one I ever did. I didn't know how to set it up. I didn't know what to bring. So I look at other people, how they set their stuff up, and it starts giving me ideas. Well, maybe that's what I want to do. So now I can use that. Now, I didn't know if you know, but there is a indie book fair in Coppell, Texas next Saturday.
No, I didn't know that.
So there's one in there if if you're interested. That's what, a couple hour drive for you probably. So that's out there. But I like going to the book signings because it gets in different regions, because it gets your books out of where you're from generally, right? People buy them all over the world, but Northern Virginia, I get other people to buy the books there. We know they're pretty good. We had it at a brewery, outdoor beer garden, which was fantastic. And the weather was spectacular. So I do like that. What, so do you, where do you do, or how do you find the book fairs, I should say? What's your best way to be able to find things to be able to do on your own?
Well, I usually Google, and then I find out that I'm 3 days late. So
I do the same thing.
it could be a little bit more organized the way I do things, but that's basically how I find it.
Okay. So tell us about this book that was just released. Let's hear something about it. Hey, I like reading Westerns
Okay.
because, well, I grew up, my mom and dad always watched black and white movies, and they were always happened to be Westerns. So I
Right.
kind of like those.
Right. Well, it focuses around a character named Johnny Cole, who the book opens up with him being 9 years old. And it's right in the middle of the fight for secession.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes of age in that climate, and it shows how he's affected by that and how it shapes him, and how he grows up to be a killer in that environment, and a fugitive from the law.
Excellent. And this is he in another series, or this is his first book as the main character?
Well, this is his first appearance. I don't know, depending on the reception and what happens, we could make it a series. I can or not.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm kind of debating on it. The first book I created a team out of 3 individuals, created a team. Now there's 4, and this book I'm just finished is the team is again together. So probably the next one's going to be another, like a series of them, not necessarily all together at one time, but operating as a team in different things.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
I like stories like that.
Yeah, and that's the way I think.
Stuff.
I think like my books take place in multiple places at one time. Right. So you got to put all, and that's timing is all that. So do you handwrite them or do you type them? I've heard people handwrite their books still. To me, that's like crazy.
I don't do that. I do good to type mine one finger at a time, and I type it out.
You would not be able to. I would not be able to read my handwriting if I wrote it in a book.
No,
because I would go between regular and cursive.
I don't have enough patience to write stuff down like that.
I don't have enough paper.
And I edit as I go. I mean, I'll edit today's work tomorrow, and then I'll start in. And I can't do that if I write it out by hand.
Yeah, I do edit. I'll write the book, but I'll edit as I go, right?
Yep.
And then I'll print it, and I'll read it and edit in that print.
Yep.
Then I'll go and change it, and then like I'm in version 3 of the book now, even though it's probably been edited, 10 times. And this is probably the last version, because I'll finish the editing on the computer. I got like 40 more pages. Then I'll print it, read it. Everything matches up and how I want it to sound, and off it goes. And but I take a little break between books because I just, you got to take a little, couple minutes to get your thoughts back before, and I couldn't write more than one at a time. I don't think. No try.
I'll allow myself a week between.
There you go.
So
if you'd have told me in March, Travis, you're going to write a book, I'd have said you're insane. This March, I never even had a inkling to be able to write a book, and what you do once you write it, right? So what kind of advice would you give? Because you're a pretty established author, you've been around. I mean, what kind of advice would you give somebody new that thinking about writing a book or written a book? What kind of advice would you give those folks?
I would just say write it. It doesn't have to be perfect on the first go round. It doesn't have to be perfect on the 14th go round. That's why they edit, and that's why you have ARC readers and all that fancy stuff that they got. And just write it, and don't worry about if it's good or bad. You can always polish it later.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I agree. That's what I do. I polish the book.
Yep.
I'll add detail.
Yes.
Detail in. Yeah.
Yes. Detail it. You can. They say, I edit as I go. So by the time I finish my book, I've probably read the entire thing 30 times, at least, maybe 50. And, if you think, I always tell people, if you think that's fun, then just read a book and then start it over.
and over and over.
See how much fun that is. And
what's Groundhog Day about 20 times in a row?
That's right.
I agree. Eventually, but what happens though is you'll read the book, you'll read your own book, numerous times, and you go, oh, I need to put something in here, because you don't wait to go a little further down and it's already in there.
Yes.
Right. And what you're trying to do is rearrange something that doesn't need to be rearranged.
Eventually, yes, you're trying to take this and put it over here, and that's not what happened. And I don't know if you outline or
no,
or any of that, but I don't. I just let it happen.
Pantser.
I don't even know what the characters' names are until they show up.
Yeah, I write them. I'll add characters to it. But I don't. I just kind of have a free flow of thought when I write, and just let it go from there, and just write all that I feel or all that I want to write, and then again I'll go back and edit. I'll go, no, what was I even thinking about? Because I just put a bunch of stuff on. But yeah, I'm the great. I don't outline.
No, I don't either.
I don't think it'd be a waste of my time. But some people do that, and that's fantastic. But I just don't have the. I'll mind map it out a little bit, but that's about it.
My stuff is more dialogue heavy.
Yeah, mine too.
That's how the story is moved. It's not narrative. So I might get hung up on a piece of dialogue for a week and have to go back and fill it in. Then you'll change it a couple more times. And, it's just a process. Yeah,
I do the same thing. Mine's a lot of dialogue. Because there's people talking, mine are not. But Flames of Deception is more. It's a fiction, techno thriller, next energy war, and it's not necessarily oil, and that's where it takes place.
That's awesome. That's a good concept, and I think if you got to where you were telling the story through narrative, it would just bog down.
Yeah, you want the interaction. Yeah, between the characters.
Interaction, then it moves it.
Yeah, a faster pace.
Yes.
Yeah, a faster paced book. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, it's great. So again, what's the name of the book that you just released?
The new one is called Texas 1857, Birth of a Gunman.
Okay.
And it's available on Amazon. It's going to be available everywhere. But right now I know it's on Amazon. I don't know if it's everywhere yet.
Okay. And do you have a pen name, or is that the name? Your name is what you use in your books. Okay. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I go, what am I going to call myself? I just call myself my name. It's easier for me. Somebody called my name, I turn around. if I call myself something else, somebody yell at me, I go, who are you talking to?
Yeah, I don't know if I could even remember what I'd call myself.
I agree 100%. Well, Ronnie, it's been great talking to you today. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited about your new book and your books that you have written all through the years. And you probably see this one is out today. So I'm assuming you probably already started on another book.
I've got three more.
3 more in progress.
Process. I've always got about 3 going.
Oh, I have 3 ideas that may not turn into books.
Well, these may not be full formed. They may lay lingering for a while, but there's always something going on.
Exactly. Well, if you guys ever get a chance, go to Hico, Texas. It is actually a very interesting city in central Texas, south of Fort Worth, but it is really somewhere to stop by and hang out in there. It's a very, very pleasant place.
It's all decorated for Christmas in the next few
already
weeks. So not yet, but in a few weeks. So
I have to check it out. But it's a great place.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you, Ronnie. And again, appreciate you spending time on Author Ecke. I wish you much success about your books. And again, folks, go out, get his books, and visit Hico, Texas.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Author Ecke. There'll be another episode next week. Please stop by and start your own story. We can't wait to hear it.